Another standard item in Gilbert and Sullivan shows is a madrigal. This, of course, started out from the beginning as a kind of jolly parody of a standard English form. Fa-la-la, all that. You get four of the singers and the cast together, and they stop the action and sort of sing, we must be merry, we must be merry. The richest of them, of course, is in Ruddigore, the immediate predecessor to Yeomen, in which the chorus is involved. And it's a wonderfully rich reflection on the seasons. The one in the Yeomen, however, is very interesting. It's just got four singers, one of them a character whose only function, in effect, is to sing, or the madrigal. And it reflects on the heroine, Rose Maybud, who has married, without seeing him, this prisoner who's about to die. And what a strange marriage this must be. What must a woman think when she's marrying this way? And so they sing this madrigal, which is really a very serious madrigal. I'm always a little impatient with directors who think madrigals always have to be made funny. You do that at the peril of destroying the point of both librettist and composer. And there's a line in here that tempts directors sometimes to make this a silly piece. It's not a silly piece, as these four reflect on this strange marriage that Rose Maybud had to make to the condemned Fairfax. Strange adventure, maiden wedded to a groom she's never seen. Never, never, never seen. Groom about to be beheaded in an hour on Tower Green. Tower, tower, Tower Green. Groom in dreary dungeon lying. Groom as dead, as good as dead or dying. For a pretty maiden sighing. Pretty maid of 17. 17. Strange adventure that we're trolling. Modest maid and gallant groom. Gallant, gallant, gallant groom. While the funeral bell is tolling. Tolling, tolling. Bimma boom. Bimma, bimma, bimma boom. Modest maiden will not tarry, though but 16 years she carried. She must marry, she must marry, though the altar be a tomb. Tower, 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 tomb. That line, bimma boom, always makes directors say, oh, that's just funny stuff. But audiences, too, are tempted to react that way. It's not. It's a beautiful reflection on the seriousness of one of the key elements of the plot. But for me, perhaps the most important aspect denotes its seriousness and the substance of its score is the intensified use of chorus. Chorus was always an important part, almost a protagonist itself, sometimes a double protagonist, the girls on one side, the boys on the other. And Sullivan himself was an experienced church composer who knew how to write for chorus, was very, very able in it. In fact, every once in a while he comes off with a choral number that just knocks your socks off. It's so beautiful. Well, he does that repeatedly in Yeomen. And of course he does it in a reverse way from what you expect at the outset. Almost invariably, virtually every Gilbert and Sullivan operetta begins with an opening chorus, the scene where the chorus comes out and marches around or does something that sets the situation. That's not the case in Yeomen. It begins with a solo. Phoebe, the love star of soprano, who sings a serious song at the very, very opening, and then only after she's sung does the crowd come on. And the crowd in the form of a double chorus. This is a production that really requires good choral resources, because at the outset, in this introductory scene, you have the townsfolk, a mixed chorus, who sing with excitement about the yeoman coming out onto the green, and you have the yeomen themselves, a male chorus. And you've got to have strong forces for both. And after the crowd of people have acclaimed these tower warders and all their gallant pikemen, valiant sworders. Remember, of course, that these yeomen are retired soldiers, a tradition that goes back at least to the 16th century when the plot is supposed to be set, was that soldiers, veterans who'd served a long career in arms, could be allowed to take on this ceremonial duty as guards at the tower. Now, of course, in the 16th century, the tower needed guards, considering some of the occupants there. More and more, certainly it is today, it was a ceremonial honorific. It was an honor for a veteran to be a part of the yeoman, and it was a purely ceremonial duty. But the point is, these are retirees. How many people here are retired? What's it feel like? What's it feel like to be retired? Well, one of the ways you can feel it is to sing the chorus when the yeomen themselves appear. And one of the most moving experiences I've had in my life is to be in that yeoman chorus and sing these lines to an absolutely glorious melody. In the autumn of our life, here at rest in ample clover, we rejoice in telling over our impetuous May and June. In the evening of our day, with the sun of life declining, we recall without repining all the heat of bygone noon. And then one of the yeomen has a solo. This the autumn of our life, this the evening of our day, weary we of battle strife, weary we of mortal fray. But our years not so spent, and our days are not so faded, but that we with one consent, were our loved land invaded, still would face a foreign foe, as in days of long ago. And then they repeat their strain in the autumn of our life, while the townsfolk dance around them in their part. It's a double chorus at that point. It's a wonderful evocation of the autumn of life, musically as well as verbally. And I think it's an example of what you can hear in this. There are so many other points in which the chorus, usually the yeoman, but also townsfolk as well, interject. The segment when Fairfax is supposed to be executed, and he's supposed to be brought out to the block. It's an extraordinarily powerful, moving little funeral march elegy. Of course, it turns out he's not there to be brought out because he's been rescued. But throughout the piece, the chorus is there, and the chorus contributes. The chorus, like the tower, is a protagonist that brings weight and depth to this. So what I'd suggest, as if you're involved in the preparation of the production, if you simply go to see it and enjoy it, savor what is more than just the usual entertainment of Gilbert and Sullivan. Gilbert and Sullivan can give you things to think about here and there. I always love in Patience, this silly bubble-headed Patience, who comes out in the second act and sings how love is a fraud. It's all for the men. It's all for the men. Women get nothing. They have to do things for the men. And you stop and think, holy Moses, did Gilbert have a vision of the 20th century? There are moments like that throughout Gilbert and Sullivan, but they're more than their share in Yeomen of the Guard. And at the end, when, well, has happiness come? The soprano and the tenor are united happily. Phoebe's stuck with Shadbolt. And Jack Point has nothing. Is this your usual happy, 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 everything's turned out fine finale for Gilbert and Sullivan? No, it gives you thought. It leaves you not with a bubbly feeling, it leaves you with a feeling of enrichment. And after all, what is a work of art supposed to do? This is a work of art. This is a work of serious lyric theater. It is a work the English should be proud of, must be proud of, and in many ways I think are. Well, those are the points I wanted to make.